Well, today, let's talk about construction workers, one of the most underappreciated groups in our world. You might think that sounds a bit over the top, but considering these are the people who create everything from buildings to roads, bridges, and all sorts of other vital things in daily life. One of the more unusual aspects of construction that most people don't pay attention to is that they often need to dig up areas first to lay foundations, and sometimes they stumble upon something totally unexpected. Here are the 15 most amazing artifacts found during construction. Number 15. Roman baths beneath a cricket club. Back in 2017, groundskeepers at Carlisle Cricket Club in northern England started renovating a seating area, only to hit the remains of an elaborate Roman bathhouse beneath the field. As machinery cut through the turf, red sandstone walls, patterned floor tiles, and fragments of carved masonry came to light. Archaeologists quickly confirmed it was a 2nd century Roman bath complex linked to the Roman fort of Luguvalium. What made the find remarkable wasn't just the condition, it was the scale. Entire portions of the Hippocaust heating system stood intact, with brick columns still upright. Decorative tiles and painted plaster hinted at a full-scale public bathhouse. Drone footage showed classic Roman layouts, frigidarium, tepidarium, and caldarium, right under the cricket pitch. Spectators watched as coins, brooches, and pottery emerged. Local press swarmed the site. Play resumed months later under new preservation laws. This renovation had uncovered one of Britain's most unexpected Roman-era architectural gems. Number 14. Aztec Temple. Beneath a shopping mall, back in 2017, construction workers laying foundations for a new upscale shopping mall in the center of Mexico City broke through layers of concrete and earth, only to encounter stone that didn't belong to any recent structure. What they had hit wasn't rubble. It was a 15th century Aztec temple, sealed for ages beneath the layers of urban expansion. Found near the famed Templo Mayor district, the exposed site left archaeologists speechless. It turned out to be a circular temple honoring the wind deity Quetzalcoatl, once part of a long-lost ceremonial compound from the peak of the Aztec Empire. Hidden behind the shell of a 20th century department store, workers unearthed curved stone walls, a raised platform, stairs, ritual pits, and elaborate carvings. The temple's distinctive circular shape, uncommon in Aztec design, was crafted to mimic the wind's motion in tribute to Quetzalcoatl. Construction was halted, and the city chose to conserve it in place. Visitors now explore it below the mall, face to face with ancient ritual. Number 13. Sphinx-like statue found during Luxor sewer work. In August 2018, sewer upgrades in Luxor, Egypt, accidentally exposed something monumental, an ancient sandstone statue with the body of a lion and the face of a human. Partially buried in soil, the figure resembled a sphinx, still embedded in the ground near the Karnak and Luxor temples. The area, once Thebes, had seen decades of restoration, but this statue had never been formally documented. Found between the temples along the famed Avenue of the Sphinxes, the statue added to the historic route that once stretched 3 kilometers with rows of similar figures. Experts halted the project, brushing away sediment to reveal the statue's paws, chest, and calm expression. Though smaller than the Great Sphinx of Giza, its craftsmanship stood out. Defined musculature and distinct features remained intact. Measuring about 2 meters tall and 3 meters long, it's now protected by Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities. The discovery proved that even in a place like Luxor, buried history still waits just below. Number 12. Ancient burial site. Beneath a Miami high-rise back in 1998, while preparing to build a luxury tower on prime Miami riverfront, crews stumbled on a find that would freeze development and shake the city's timeline. Along the Miami River's edge, excavation revealed a perfect 38-foot wide circle carved directly into limestone bedrock, lined with mysterious holes, arranged with stunning astronomical precision. Experts quickly recognized it as a ceremonial site built nearly 2,000 years ago by the Tequesta people, among Florida's earliest indigenous groups. Named the Miami Circle, it contained over 20 carved holes, likely post holes for wooden structures forming a geometrically precise ring. Inside, archaeologists found shark teeth, axe heads, effigies, bone tools, even tools made from basalt, a rock foreign to Florida. This hinted at ancient trade routes. Public uproar surged as news cameras flew overhead and activists encircled the site. After intense debate, the state of Florida bought the land for $27.5 million. Today, the circle is protected and open to the ordinary public. Number 11. Roman Mithraeum, beneath London. As the city rebuilt after the Blitz, a construction team digging near the Walbrook River broke into layers of dark soil and struck something amazing. Beneath a bombed-out building lay rows of ancient stone blocks, arranged in a deliberate rectangular shape. When archaeologists stepped in, they realized they'd found a Mithraeum, a rare Roman temple honoring Mithras, the Persian god of light. Nearly 1,800 years old, this was unlike anything found in Britain. At its core stood a statue of Mithras slaying a bull, the center of his cult. Around it were altars, coins, pottery, and sculpted reliefs. Buried for centuries under layers of development and flood sediment, the find drew massive crowds and global headlines. But the original was carelessly relocated and reconstructed incorrectly to make room for offices. Decades later, Bloomberg funded a proper excavation and full restoration. Now reassembled beneath their London HQ, the temple is a sensory museum where voices chant Latin, torches flicker, and Mithras rises from shadow. Number 10. Greek marble statue, beneath Thessaloniki subway. During 2010 subway construction in Thessaloniki, workers broke into marble while clearing space near a station site, finding an intact Roman-era road, complete with columns, mosaics, and statues. Among the artifacts was a finely carved statue of a woman in flowing robes, likely a noble or priestess. Made from pristine Parian marble and dating to the 2nd century CE, it stood nearly 6 feet tall. The statue, hidden beneath the ancient Decumanus Maximus, retained clear facial features, detailed garments, and visible jewelry. It had been carefully buried in a niche and preserved through centuries of upheaval. Archaeologists halted work as more than 50,000 relics surfaced: pottery, tools, and architectural fragments. The subway plan was revised to preserve the ancient city. Engineers rerouted tunnels and designed stations around the ruins. Now, as of 2025, part of a museum built into the transit system, this statue has returned to public view. Number 9. Neolithic Temple Complex in Malta. In the early 2000s, crews preparing to expand the Gozo heliport near Jebug hit limestone slabs, shaped too precisely to be natural. Located close to the famed Gantija temples, the site revealed itself to be a Neolithic temple complex, dormant for nearly 5,500 years. Known later as the Jebug Circle, the area contained subterranean chambers, altars, burial slots, and carved megaliths. Over 220 human remains were uncovered, some interred in collective graves, others buried alone with ceremonial objects. Tools, shell ornaments, and pottery lay scattered across the space, hinting at ritual use. One carved figurine, broad-hipped and eyeless, likely represented a fertility deity. DNA studies showed cultural links with nearby temple sites. Drone footage captured spiral carvings weathered into stone, and signs of intentional skull shaping appeared in multiple remains. The airport redesign was halted. A full-scale replica was constructed nearby for public viewing, while the actual site remains protected, an ancient sanctuary, nearly lost under the path of a helicopter landing pad. Number 8. Mammoth Tooth in San Francisco. Remains of mammoths have turned up in many regions, some even frozen whole in ice. But every piece, even just a single tooth, carries weight. In 2012, during excavation at San Francisco's Transbay Transit Center, construction workers found exactly that, the massive tooth of a Colombian mammoth. Unlike the woolly kind often associated with icy tundras, the Colombian mammoth roamed open valleys, including the area that would become San Francisco. After confirmation, the fossil was handed over to the California Academy of Sciences for preservation. Scientists determined it likely came from a mammoth that lived tens of thousands of years ago, sharing the land with saber-toothed cats and other Ice Age megafauna. The discovery reminded locals that beneath the concrete and steel of a tech-filled metropolis was once a wild, ancient plain. The fossil may have just been one tooth, but it opened a window into a long-lost ecosystem now buried beneath train lines and traffic lights. Number 7. High-class wet mummy in China. Well, here's another bizarre discovery, made by accident during road construction. Workers expanding a street unearthed ancient tombs, one of which held a remarkably preserved woman from the Ming dynasty. What shocked everyone was her condition. Despite centuries underground, many of her facial features remained intact, including her eyelashes. The reason? Her tomb was filled with a murky brown liquid that had somehow preserved both her silk garments and her skin. Archaeologists were stunned, not only because silk rarely survives, but because her burial was unusually elaborate. Inside the coffin were ceramic pieces, written scrolls, and bones, all pointing to a ceremonial and high-status interment. Experts noted the preservation was far beyond typical for the region. The mummy wasn't found in a palace or vault, but right beneath a modern street. It was an unexpected intersection between the past and the present, where even daily infrastructure work could pull a royal relic back into the daylight. Number 6. The Terracotta Army. One of history's most iconic archaeological finds came to light in 1974 when farmers digging a well in Xi'an, China, struck something extraordinary: fragments of the Terracotta Army. Excavations soon revealed an entire underground military formation created for China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Inside the tomb complex were over 8,000 intricately sculpted soldiers, 130 chariots, 520 horses, and more than 150 cavalry figures. Each warrior was uniquely detailed, no two faces alike. This was no ordinary burial site. It was a spiritual army built to serve the emperor in the afterlife. The craftsmanship showed staggering devotion, and the sheer scale stunned archaeologists. The tomb itself remains largely unexcavated, rumored to contain even greater wonders, possibly untouched treasures or booby traps. But even just the surface discovery gave a vivid portrait of the Qin dynasty's ambition and reverence for the afterlife. Number 5. Lost City beneath Grand Central Terminal. In the early 1990s, while blasting deep beneath Grand Central Terminal in New York, construction crews uncovered remnants of a forgotten world, a 19th-century neighborhood entombed in concrete. But the full story came to light in 2012, when inspectors found sealed iron doors during renovations. Behind them were soot-blackened corridors, brick arches, coal chutes, and foundations of old tenements, once part of the Grand Central Yards. This buried stretch of Manhattan included streets, stairwells, and hidden vaults lined with rusted tools, bottles, and 1800s graffiti. Some vaults had original cobblestones preserved perfectly in the dark. One staircase led to a dead end. Historians confirmed the site was once a dense working-class district, later demolished for railway expansion. Rather than clearing it entirely, developers simply built over it. Until modern construction peeled the layers back, no one knew how much remained. Number 4. Mud Dragon. in China. This one comes from China, 2016, where a construction crew using dynamite uncovered something hidden beneath layers of soil, a fossil of a winged dinosaur. It turned out to be the Tongtianlong limosus, nicknamed the Mud Dragon. The fossil dated back to the Cretaceous period, placing it between 66 to 72 million years old. What stood out was that this creature wasn't just winged, it had feathers, suggesting it was an evolutionary link between dinosaurs and birds. The position of its bones revealed its final moments, trapped and struggling in mud before death. It wasn't just fossilized, it was entombed mid-motion. The discovery also hinted that the region may have been prone to such natural traps. While being buried in wet earth is a grim fate, some might argue it's still better than being vaporized by an asteroid. Who knows? Number 3. The Derinkuyu underground city. This one comes from Turkey. A man doing casual renovation work in his basement knocked down a wall and found something unthinkable, an entrance into a sprawling underground city. What he had opened was part of Derinkuyu, a massive subterranean complex dating back over 2,000 years. This wasn't a small hideout. It held 18 levels of chambers, including homes, food stores, cattle stables, wine rooms, ventilation shafts, and even places of worship. It was designed for full-scale underground living, complete with fresh air and clean water systems. Historians believe it served as a refuge during invasions, where entire populations could vanish underground for protection. The city's sheer depth and complexity offered both safety and sustainability for long stretches of time. Every carved passage tells of a time when survival demanded creativity. Instead of fleeing, people went inward, into rock and earth, to endure. Number 2. Dinosaur eggs in China. Back to China again, this time for a prehistoric surprise found not in a dig site, but in the middle of a bustling town. During road repairs, workers uncovered 43 fossilized dinosaur eggs. The city already held the record for the most dinosaur egg finds globally, and this discovery added even more to that total. What made the find unusual was the location: downtown. Most eggs were undamaged, and some measured 13 centimeters across, meaning they belonged to a large dinosaur species. It's a reminder that beneath modern roads, ancient worlds still rest. These eggs joined a count of over 177,000 dinosaur eggs discovered in that region alone, indicating it was once a massive nesting ground. No one was searching for them that day. They just happened to be buried right beneath the pavement. Even in a place known for its fossils, that's not something you expect to find in the middle of traffic work. But nature has a way of surprising us. Number 1. Roman villa beneath a supermarket in Dublin. A team preparing for a new Lidl supermarket in Dublin hit something unexpected just below the surface. As they dug out the base for the store, workers struck patterned stone far too geometric and colorful to be natural. What they found was one of Britain's best-preserved Roman mosaics, resting just beneath a patch of grass. Archaeologists immediately froze construction and began excavating. They revealed the remains of a luxurious Roman villa, complete with an elaborate floor mosaic made of spirals, woven knots, and interlocking shapes. Art unseen there for over 1,500 years. The discovery was enormous. The villa held bathhouses, underfloor heating, walls, storage pits, entire chambers preserved under centuries of soil. As digging expanded, more of a forgotten Roman settlement surfaced: coins, pottery, brooches, and animal bones. The site likely belonged to a wealthy official or veteran. Lidl halted its project, funded full preservation, and earned praise for it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon in the next one.